Have you ever felt hesitant to read the Song of Solomon, or even wonder why it's even in the Bible? Mm-hmm. If you have, or you skip past this book, you might have missed some golden nuggets that can help and bless your marriage. Let's talk about that and much more here on this episode of Couples Pursuit Live Bible Study Edition.
Couples Pursuit.
Hello, this is Vincent
and Valerie
Woodard. And on this episode of Couples Pursuit,
we're going to discuss the Songs of Solomon, or as it's sometimes referred to as the Song of Songs, and lessons we can learn from this ultimate love story.
Look, we're so glad that you can join us here on Couples Pursuit. Our goal is to provide you with tools necessary to pursue and maintain a successful relationship. If you're new, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. And make sure you like this video and subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And also share this with someone that you think can get something out of this topic. So, baby.
Yes.
The Song of Songs, or the Song of Solomon. What do you think?
Well, before I really understood my relationship with the Lord the way that I do, years ago, I just thought, oh, well, this is the book in the Bible that's really short, and it talks about romance. And what it actually is it's a collection of like 8 poems that are very romantic in nature, but kind of like the book of Revelations, the way that it explains things, the way it explains things. If you visualize it, it's like, oh, well, is that pretty or is that beautiful? But it's really more about what the comparisons represent in that, in those pieces of biblical literature. It's like a beautiful thing, and often it's referenced for weddings, like a quote maybe taken from it for weddings, talking about the romantic, intimate side of relationship and marriage and love.
That's true. And when I was reading it, I got the fact that that it almost didn't even make it in the Bible. The people that when they found the text, they were like, "Is this like part of the Bible? Should it be part of the Bible?" Even though it is sacred text. And it's people.
It's like, how does it fit?
Yeah, how does it fit? How does it fit in? And thank God that they didn't try to tamper with it, and they put it in and said, we're just gonna let God and tell about God. And especially the fact that it says the Song of Solomon, or the Song of Songs, that Solomon was credited with writing over 3,000 proverbs. Right. And then also credited with writing 105 songs. It said 1,005 songs. Wow, 1,005 songs, and that's in 2 Kings, I believe.
Oh, I haven't written it.
Yeah, 1 King 4:32. It said that specific number, 1,005. But all we have in the Bible is this song. And if you read I'll urge you, when you're reading the Bible, to read the preface, or the stuff before this verses start. It's a lot of good commentaries, a lot of smart people, a lot of people that just study the Bible, like seem like all day and night, and they put this, try to cram they try to summarize what the whole chapter could be about in a couple of paragraphs, and it's really good nuggets. So in that, they talked about the fact that that this book right here is the song. It's like the most famous of all songs that Solomon wrote. I thought that was amazing. We have the best of the best. And the Proverbs, and also you read the beginning of when they talk about the Proverbs, like these are the best of the best that we have access to.
And what's interesting is I love what my Bible says. I've had this Bible for 25.
Show me Bible.
This is the Spirit-Filled Life Bible for Students. And it says, learning and living God's Word by the power of His Spirit. And I have had it for nearly 30 years, maybe 28 years.
As long as I've known you.
And my husband, he joked because my pages started to turn and I used my flat iron to straighten them out.
She ironed her Bible.
Because they were all getting curly and I didn't want them to get torn. But nevertheless, I have really good highlights and commentary in my Bible. And I want to share just a little bit with you about what mine says about the Song of Solomon. First of all, Solomon was the son of David. It references that he wrote over 1,000 songs, and again references 1 Kings 4:32. But tradition holds that the song was written when he was a young romantic, before he became the husband of many, many wives, because he had over 700 wives. And so, yes, I think it's wonderful because it was written so long ago, like in between 970 and 930 BC. But also it represents covenant love, which is the basis between the relationship of God and his people. And so it's not just about the relationship between man and woman, but as we've discussed many times before, God's love for his people, Christ's love for the church as the groom, the bridegroom, and the bride, it again mirrors that relationship. The heavenly relationship mirrors the earthly relationship.
That is true. And so we've we know the Song of Psalms there are some parts in there that, some people might shy away because we're talking about a woman's anatomy and things like that. I really urge you not to shy away from that because it's love, and God gave us a marriage so we can enjoy each other.
Right.
And this actually in this song, it talks about the fact that, look, don't stir the fire if you can't put it out. Basically, don't try to make the flame hot if you can't do anything about it. It urges you it's something. Love is that powerful. But we want to take out 4 lessons that I believe can really help you in this short amount of time that we have together. There are 4 lessons that I think we can extract and apply it to our lives and everyday lives. So I want to start with a verse, baby.
Okay.
I want you to read Song of Solomon's, and this lady. You
want me to read your version or from here?
You can read either one.
Okay.
And 1 and 2. Song of Solomon 1 verse 2, and yeah. Okay.
So the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's, the banquet, the Shulamite. This is a Shulamite woman, right? Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth, for your love is better than wine. Just 2?
Yeah. You want to go some more?
No, that's fine.
So she starts off just, from the get-go, like
with desire,
yeah, and boldness, and her affection towards him. Like, look, I just want to tell you how I feel. The NLT version says, "Kiss me and kiss me again, for your love is sweeter than wine." There's another one in Psalms. So you read that version, baby, on the screen. Psalms 8.
8:6.
Yeah.
Okay, this is chapter 8, verse 6. It says, "Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is strong as death. Jealousy is fierce as the grave. Its flashes are flashes of fire, the very flame of the Lord."
So first lesson I would like to bring to light is the fact that this teaches us to be affectionate to one another and unashamed. Like, I don't want my wife, thinking that I'm just always thinking about her. I want to touch her, but I don't want to touch her because she might say no or whatever. You know what? It teaches us to just throw that away and just say, look, I really want you to hold me. I really want you to kiss me. I really want to feel your embrace. I really want to feel your arms around me.
Yeah. And then as well, the first sentence, it's one sentence, but set me as a seal upon your heart. Seal is something that encloses and captures or protects. So set me in that place inside of you, and then as a seal upon your arm. Because an arm, the thing I'm going to reference is a tattoo. Although I don't care for tattoos, but people wear those outward symbols of what they're feeling about themselves on the inside or whatever. And what you wear, I don't know where the terminology comes from, but when a person says, oh, he or she wears their feelings on their sleeve.
Yeah.
It means they are very evident. It's very transparent how it feels. You don't have to guess. Now, some people may say that is a bad thing, but when it comes to courtship and covenant and marriage,
she's designed this.
Let it be known that I am. It's like me wearing this ring. It is well known that I belong to him and he belongs to me. Willingly, we want that, and we're not ashamed of that.
I'm not ashamed of it. And sometimes, and we find out sometimes in the men culture, is that a thing? But we are, sometimes we want to be seen as strong and hard, and you know, I don't, I'm the man, and you come with me, and we're not going to do a lot of PDA. And I'm not saying, you know, you got to kiss each other all the time walking down the street, but you know, I mean, holding hands, you know, embracing, you know, sometimes putting your hand in the small of her back, guiding her through the door, just those things right there, showing the fact that she is the seal on your heart, and you wear it on your sleeve. You wear your emotions for her on your sleeve, how much you love her, and it's not like you're ashamed to express that to her. It's not like you're showing off to other people.
Right. It just is evident.
Yes.
It's what it is. There's no pretense. There's no covering up. There's no falsehood in that, and that's good. You know, sometimes like you said before, what men will do sometimes is what they would do to one another is cause each other to feel whipped, or call each other henpecked, or whatever it is, as if it is not a good thing for a man to have found someone who captured his heart. And then also is now men, and this is not the introduction to foreplay. Right. All affection doesn't have to lead to intercourse. I say that to say I'm yes, man, you know, if she's with it, you with it, all right, okay. We are talking about married folks here. Married folks. But it's like the fact that you're showing affection is foreplay is the word itself is leading up to something. Before. Yeah, but being affectionate is just a state. It's a state that we're in, you know, and we roll with that, whatever that state takes us. But it's not with a forward notion that, okay, if I do this, it's going to lead to that. No, it's a state that we're in right now. Yeah. So men, just to be aware of that part. It's not that, okay, well, you know, I heard y'all say one time foreplay is way before the bedroom and it starts, you know, okay, I'm not talking necessarily about that right now. I'm just talking about being affectionate to your spouse. And for women too, some women don't really like the lovey-dovey stuff. I've heard. That's true, and it can be based on a lot of things. Some women, based on their history, their upbringing, affection was either modeled or not modeled, or sometimes there could have been trauma or violation that would cause them to want to shy away from being touched, you know, in a certain way. And even though they know that there is an expectation of physical intimacy with their spouse, so they're like, okay, let's just cut all the preliminaries and let's just get it over with. Yes. Honestly, that's how they may be feeling on the inside, because they're still wounded, you know, unhealed from that. So it's possible that women don't necessarily like foreplay. Don't prefer or being foreplay. Affectionate or being affectionate. So, and I urge you, I know if you just joined us, you could be wondering, well, I thought this was Bible study night. Well, our whole thing that we do here at Couples Pursuit is teach from biblical perspective, to give you tools, strategies to help you pursue and to maintain a successful relationship, a successful marriage. And the principles that we've used and we're going to continue to use and continue to talk and preach on are biblical principles. Right. And God created us. He created our bodies. He created us in the way in which we are made. He created our anatomy to be compatible with one another. And this is something that if you think carnally about it, you won't understand it, or you'll think, and what I mean is just with your five senses, you have to think spiritually about what I'm about to say in order to perceive it or receive it. Is, for me, what I have found, and not until we have been married for several years, what I found that intimacy with you is the closest experience to worship. Not that I worship you in place of God, but it has let me know through taking down the barriers, wearing my feelings on my sleeve, being transparent with you, not having all of the stuff in between us, not following the ways of the world, and not having to worry about it being sinful, et cetera, et cetera. It has freed me in such a way that I understand that God created this. It has become more spiritual for me than it is physical. The connection that happens is less and less about the physical, which is great. It's wonderful. But as we know, the physical is temporal. It's temporary. That only lasts for so long. But the benefit of that relationship, it verifies to me that God is the creator of it.
Exactly. And if you take the intimacy out of, to me, you take the intimacy out of being together, sexual intercourse. You just have a sex. Really, to me, you just rubbing flesh together. I mean,
it's friction. I mean, you're going to get a result, but there's a big difference between.
Well, when you have that, and that leads to the second lesson that we can learn and glean from is the second lesson is that we need to stay emotionally connected to one another. Hey, read that verse in Song of Solomon 6:3.
6:3. Okay. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. This is the one that's on a lot of wedding programs. I am my beloved, and my beloved is mine. What is this saying? It's saying, as I said before, I belong to him, and he belongs to me. Beloved is such a sweet word. You know, it's a romantic and endearing, sensitive word.
In this whole chapter book, the Shulamite woman says it a lot. Like, I am his beloved. I am my beloved's. And the man says my love a lot. So the fact that she knows that he loves her in that way actually inspires her to call herself that. Like, I am his love. I think that is so awesome that your wife can actually think of herself as your love.
She knows without a doubt that I talked about our relationship and how no one can get in our bubble.
That's right.
She knows that it's just the two of them in that bubble. And the way that they talk about one another throughout these 8 chapters is very romantic, and it does shut out the world, you know, and that's important. When you talk about connection, that's very, very necessary to have a lasting and a strong love relationship, even a physical, intimate relationship. You have to know, you know, it helps to know that you're my person, I'm your person, and I don't have to worry about that being violated.
That is true. And speaking of that, it had to be a situation where he actually set the atmosphere, or he created the space where she can feel uninhibited, and she can feel like it's okay to be vulnerable here. It's okay to let my emotions and be free and to express myself here. I don't have to worry about you throwing it back in my face. I don't have to worry about, you know, you doing this with, you know, whatever, because even though this is, you know, King Solomon we're talking about, there's a lot of variation. Like my wife said earlier, this could be the young version. This is his desire of ultimate romance. Like, this is what he desired. He was the wisest man probably ever, but we know at that exact time he was the richest man ever going to be, but the wisest man. And he said, he wrote this right here as the feeling of love and how it makes him feel, and how it makes his the woman, we never have her name, but it just how it expresses to him. And this is just the opiates. This is how it all comes. It's like, wow, this is what I believe that he's desiring.
It's intoxicating.
Yes.
For if you've ever been in love, I know we have single, separated, married, divorced, and widowed folks that are watching sometimes, but if you've ever been in love, that feeling of, wow, you know, this is the best thing ever, and I could just stay in this moment. I love to be in his or her presence, and looking into their eyes when they touch me. If if they just touch my hand, that those moments of getting to know one another is overwhelming, and I love that. For me, this is a comparison to God's love for us. He longs to be with us. He longs to commune with us. I believe it was Genesis when he was looking for Adam and Eve, and he said he would walk with them in the cool of the day. He looked for them to be in a place where he could communicate with them every day.
Yes, he missed the connection.
Right.
I believe he noticed. I believe that way it's described to us in Genesis, that he actually came. Like, where are you? Looking for them. It's like he knew the connection. Something happened to that. And this song teaches us that connection is important. Emotional connection is so important. So wow, my goodness. So the third lesson that you can get, you can either read your book or you can read.
I'll read from here. Okay. Go ahead.
The third lesson is that. Go ahead, read it first tonight.
The third lesson is that you.
No, the song.
Oh, the song. Okay,
verse.
So Song of Songs 110. This is the NLT. How lovely are your cheeks, your earrings set them afire. How lovely is your neck, enhanced with a string of jewels. We will make for your earrings of gold and beads of silver.
There's another verse I like to.
And 5:10 says, my lover is dark and dazzling, better than 10,000 others. His head is fine as gold. His wavy hair is black as a raven. His eyes
I used to have wavy.
His eyes sparkle like doves beside springs of water. They are set like jewels washed in milk.
The third lesson that we can get from the Song of Solomon or the Song of Songs is that scent, grooming, and hygiene are important.
Yes.
We used to get dressed, and you're going out to each other, and you might took a shower right before the date, and so you smelling fresh, and little cologne, got yourself, you're not ashy, and you check your in the mirror, you're checking, everything is good. You got your, you have to worry about crumbs in a dirt spot. But then, you did all that most of the time when you met each other, and then sometimes throughout the years, once you get married. You kind of find yourself, your wife be like, what you got in your shirt? It's okay, that's going to be all right. You just, and it's all wrinkled, or your pants are wrinkled, your knees are ashy, you're not really grooming yourself. And this verses, I talk about how important grooming is, and it should always continue to be hygiene. The fact that you desire to have your spouse look at you like, wow. I'm not saying like you're like you have to be the chiseled cheek and.
No, it's not about that. No. It's about you being your best self for them.
Yeah. And
your best self doesn't have to be dressed up. It doesn't have to be all of that. But what's happening here in 110 and in 510 is that first he is appreciating her appearance and how she adorns herself, and so he notices her. Her beauty is there, but he notices the things that accent her beauty. And then for her in 510, she's talking about him, his head, his hair, his eyes, and it makes a difference. And when you say, here you have a man's fragrance appeals to a woman's sense of sight, sense of touch, sense of smell, and her sense of hearing. This is how he can express his love in tangible, practical ways to his woman. I love the way my husband smells, and he knows that when he puts on that cologne that I love so much. It smelled really good in the store, but when he put it on, it's like, woo, right? It just alerts my senses, and it happens every single time. And so those are the little things that you can do that still connect you. And I know that there is a quote unquote science behind it, pheromones, all those things. Whatever it is, it's true. It's attractive. And it's the little things that go a long way sometimes.
That is so true. And even like the parts we're not reading, when we talked about the woman's anatomy and stuff, even in that, he's not talking about like an ideal anatomy, like a size 36, 24, 36. He's not talking, he's appreciating her.
Yeah.
And she's appreciating, him. And she does talk about some physical attributes, but it's still what he is right now. And it's mainly how, that is attractive, but how he makes her felt and loved and wanted and desired. And those things, that's what we really get from this Song of Songs or Song of Solomon. We really get the fact that we as spouses should always continue to have our wives, have our husbands, never question the fact, I wonder if he still, I wonder if did he even like what I got on today? Did
you notice me? Am I still attracted to him? Do you notice him or her, or do you just kind of fall into a funk? And again, this parallels with our relationship with the Lord, because sometimes we can become very very mundane in our relationship. Oh, well, Father, I just thank you today for your goodness, your grace, and your mercy, and blah, 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 blah. And we go through the routine. But what he desires is to be in our presence. It's the same thing that lovers desire. They want to be in one another's presence. They want to see each other's eyes. They want to hear each other's voice. And God wants us to seek his face daily, and he is waiting for us to commune with him. And I'm going to read something here. It just says, God is in love with his people as he pours out his spirit upon us. His banner over us is love. A banner is something from ancient armies waved above themselves as they waved above themselves as they marched in brilliant colors. God waved his rainbow-colored banner of eternal love over all humankind. He has sent his Savior into the world to die for our sins. There's nothing he wouldn't do for us. And his word says, lo, I'll be with you even into the end of the age, even if you make your bed in hell. That is a pursuit beyond pursuit. It doesn't, we can't even say that a lot of us as couples that we would go to the ends of the earth for our spouses. We have limits. We draw a line in the sand, but God is forever pursuing us. Yeah.
And with that, there's not a contention on if these people, who are called by my name, humble themselves. That's just so we can have a relationship with him, but his relationship with us is eternal. It's eternal. Yes, it always. Yeah. It's always going on. And like my wife said, this Song of Solomon, Song of Psalms, I believe it's a 50,000 view of that. Yes. Of God's relationship with us. So the last one, hey Tabitha, hey Miss Brenda, how y'all doing? This last one, lesson 4. Baby, read Psalm 1 and 3. Okay.
Verse 1 and 3. I'm sorry, chapter 1, verse 3 says, how fragrant your cologne. Your name is like its spreading fragrance. No wonder all the young women love you. And 2:1 says, I am the spring crocus blooming on the Sharon plain, the lily of the valley.
Lesson 4 states that a person should always maintain good character. I was at a wedding one time, and the person that's officiating the wedding said this. He said that you should always be careful to keep her name clean in the streets. Meaning that the way you act reflects on her, and the way she acts reflect on you. He was talking to the groom at the time, right? But he was like, keep her name clean in the streets. I was like, that's good. Let me write that down. And this chapter, this part of the book talks about that. That not only is his fragrance I love she loves the way he smells, but she says his name It's like a spreading fragrance.
It's like the spreading of fragrance. And
yeah.
Yeah, so he brings her joy. He brings her, just that inexplicable feeling of, wow.
Yeah.
Just his name. You see these movies where it's usually adolescent girls, and they'll be like, oh, there's such and such, and they'll be like, Tommy, and they're like, oh, Tommy, and they just squeal because there's this youthful.
When they hear the name, they think of all the things Tommy is.
Yes, what he means to them. And so it's like a spreading fragrance. If there's something that you like to eat, or if there's like I was making something the other day, and you were like, what are you cooking? I smelled it before I got in the house. I smelled
it before I came on the porch. I'm like, what is that? So
it goes out and it fills the air. It fills your surroundings. So it's so expressive. And we miss with movies and TV shows and music and the way that life is today. It has just sucked a lot of the romance and the intimacy out of relationship, and you just get right to the physical hardcore things. And this brings us back to the foundation of what it should be between a man and the woman, of how special it is. It's not just sex, it's not just a relationship, it's special.
That's right. Right. And if you apply these lessons, these are just a few. There's so many. They're so jam-packed. Like I said, we have the song of songs. We have the best. That's what it says in the preface. It says we have the best song out of the many songs that he's written. Yeah. And from this, man, these 4 lessons are just so I can have number 4. Could have did 40, whatever. But if we apply these to our marriage, I believe we're on to a great start in developing more intimacy. We're developing, taking care of ourselves, keeping our wife's name clean in the street, our spouse's name clean in the streets, be emotionally connected, and showing affection, being more open to showing affection to one another. So I urge you to take these into your heart, and apply. Put them into practice. If you're doing all of them, kudos, man, awesome. Some things you want to work on. Hey, work on it. It's never too late.
That's right. It's never too late. It's never too late. And even if you've never had this level of intimacy in your marriage, your relationship, it's not too late to discover it.
And like I said, this is our Bible study edition, but the principle here is what we apply. If it's not a Wednesday night Bible study, we apply it all the time, because there's so many lessons, there's so many things that you can learn. And I urge you to go back and actually don't shy away from the Song of Solomon. Like, go back and read it. Find a version that is like you can digest more until you are able to get to maybe the CSB or the NKJV or whatever. Find a version. The New Living Translation, I think, does a very good job. The Passion Translation is very good, especially for this context right here. So, but don't shy away from it. It's a lot of good things.
Yeah, and maybe now after we've shared a little bit of like the correlation between the romance between a man and a woman and God's love for His people, maybe you can read it with a different perspective. Now that you have another viewpoint, it may make more sense to you. But we urge you to just dig in and dig deep, and think about as you read it, think about how you felt about your love before you asked her to be your wife, and how you felt about him before you accepted his proposal in marriage, and see where it takes you.
That's right. That's right.
So we thank you for joining us tonight. As always, we pray that the Lord bless you, that He keep you, that He make His face shine upon you, be gracious to you, and give you peace. And we'll see you here again on Couples Pursuit Live Bible Study Edition. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.